With the addition of the big picture mode added to Steam, I was inspired to do a small project in NX6. And while my project is very rough and very unfinished, it is complete enough to show publicly. I present to you the Sauna, my name for the Valve Steambox. Now because of its unfinished state, I am showing you this with the edges highlighted. Otherwise, it would look like this. Essentially, this is a console that is solely dedicated to running Steam and the games available for it. Therefore, internally, it would need to be as powerful enough to run any game on Steam at its highest settings. However, I focused only on what is needed on the outside of the console. Beginning with the front, you see the Steam logo displayed proudly at the top. While it is there only as an aesthetic, it could possibly have other functionalities in the future. The power button is in the bottom left corner of the console. It's obvious what that does. Finally, you'll notice the 4 ports in the bottom right. These are USB ports. While the console will no doubt come with its own wireless controller, not all games on Steam are made to run from just a controller. Therefore, it should be possible to connect to your own keyboard, mouse, gamepad, and up to one more device and use the console through that. However, if you need more than 4 USB ports to play video games, then you may be using too much in my opinion. Next, we look at the back of the console. This is part of the reason why I say that it is unfinished, since a console of this power would need a vent for a cooling fan, which this obviously does not have. In the bottom left, you'll see a connector for the power cable. I lifted this from the modern PS2 console, though depending on the power needed to run such a machine, that may change even to something that is a little bit more proprietary for just this console. In the middle are parts for both a standard AV cable as well as for an HDMI cable. I included both because I'm aware that not everyone has a giant flat screen TV as of yet, so I thought it'd be nice to include both on such a console. Finally, while I do anticipate the Sauna having a wireless card, game consoles would require a quicker connection, which can be found from a now standard high-speed Ethernet port on the bottom right. I know this console would have a controller of its own, probably one with a USB charger as well as its own internal battery, removing the need to buy a double A's from the store. And while I have yet to design the controller for it, I believe that due to the games on Steam mostly using it as their layout template, the console will come with an Xbox 360 type controller. However, I'm opposed to this because the layout of the controller is more suited to games with 3-dimensional movement, such as Assassin's Creed 3 and Call of Duty. I would prefer to have a PS3 type controller, since it can be used both in games with 3-dimensional movements as well as in 2D games that I personally play, such as Cave Story Plus and They Bleed Pixels. In conclusion, this is the Valve Sauna, my very rough and very unfinished concept art for what has been called the Steambox. And while it may not look like this, I do hope that Valve makes the concept of a console that plays Steam and its games a reality someday.